guys, it's Kaylee from K-Books, and this is my wrap-up post for the month of May. I read quite a few books this month. I have a couple of them on hard copy to show you, but the majority of them are on ebook, so I will add the pictures when I edit the video. The first book I read this month was Tempting the Bodyguard by Jay Lin. This is the third and final book in the Gamble Brothers series, which is an adult contemporary romance series. As with all of Jen's books, I adored this one. I really think she left the best to last. It had a little bit extra excitement that the other two in the series didn't. I won't say why, because if you haven't read it, it will be a major spoiler. But it was just, I really enjoyed it a lot more. The second book I read was The Warrior by Victoria Scott. This is the third and final book in the Dante Walker series, and I gave this one 5 stars. I loved it. I was a little bit nervous when I first started it because I haven't really enjoyed her other series. I read Fire and Flood earlier this year and I didn't like it very much. So I was a little bit worried about The Warrior, but after loving The Collector and The Liberator, The Warrior definitely didn't disappoint. It was amazing. It was full of action and romance, and it was fabulous. So if you haven't read that series, I highly suggest that one. The next one I read was Searching for Beautiful by Naire Dawn. This is a young adult contemporary book, and I gave it 2 stars. I didn't really like it very much. It was very close to being a DNF. I did not finish, but I did keep going. And yeah, it was the first Naire Dawn book I'd read, so I haven't really got anything to compare it to, but I really wasn't impressed. The main character really annoyed me, and I just didn't enjoy it very much. But I do have a friend who didn't enjoy that one, but has enjoyed Naire's other books, so perhaps I will like some of her other ones. I haven't decided whether I'm going to actually try them or not yet. The next one I read was Elemental by Brigid Kemmerer. This is the prequel novella to the Elementals series, a series that I have been dying to read for so long, and it's finally getting published here in the UK. So this is a young adult paranormal series, and what I found is when I usually read prequel novellas, I find them a little bit boring. I find that it's a bit of information overload because they're trying to introduce you to the world in only a short amount of pages. What I found with Elemental is it wasn't like that. It didn't give you information overload about the elementals. It just introduced you to one of the key characters, and it was really good. I really loved it. The next one I actually have in paperback, and you might have guessed it. It's Storm by Brigid Kemmerer. This is the first book in the Elemental series, and I gave this 5 stars. I really don't know why I didn't read it before now, because it's absolutely fabulous. It's fantastic. It has romance, but what I love is that the romance really takes a back seat in this series. It's all about the elementals and the people coming for them, and it's all about the storyline and the characterization and the relationships between the characters, but not in a romantic way. So it's the relationship between the 4 brothers, and I absolutely loved it. It's fantastic. The next one I also have a hard copy of, and it is Because It Is My Blood by Gabrielle Zevin. This is the second book in the Birthright series, and it's a young adult dystopia. I gave this one 5 stars. It was fantastic. I love this series, and I know the third one's already out in the UK, in the US, sorry. It doesn't come out in the UK until later this year. I'm dying for this book. I can't wait for the third one. I just love this series. It's one of my favourite dystopia series. It's just so baffling to think of a world where coffee and chocolate are illegal, because that would be my diet just completely gone. I just loved it. It's so good. It introduces you to new characters, and it has a lot more of action packed in there. It's fantastic. I loved it. The next one I read is Take Me On by Katie McGarry. I read an arc of this, and it's the 4th in her young adult contemporary Pushing the Limits series. I love this series. I have read and devoured every single one of them in one sitting, and Take Me On was not any different. It was fantastic. I think it's one of my favourites. It was just incredible. I won't say too much because I don't want to ruin it, but I just loved getting to know West and reading his and Hayley's story, and it was just fantastic. I loved it. The next one I read was also an ebook, and it's Kiss of Frost by Jennifer Eastep. This is the second book in the Mythos Academy series, which is a young adult mythology book. I read the first one about 2 years ago, so I actually had to go and read my own review of the first book to remember who the characters were, which was a little bit strange. But yeah, I loved it. I love mythological books. I love mythological series, and this is a fantastic one. It has Loki in, but Loki's the bad guy, and that's really difficult for me because I'm such a huge fan of Marvel stuff and of the Avengers and stuff, and I just picture that Loki, and that's really hard to hate him. But I absolutely loved it. It was fantastic, and it was a 5-star read. The next one is also in the Mythos Academy series. I read Dark Frost by Jennifer Eastep, which is book 3. It was so good. So good. Again, I gave it 5 stars. I won't say much because I don't want to ruin the series for anybody, but it was just a fantastic book. The next one I read, I have with me, and it's Days of Blood and Starlight by Laini Taylor. This is the second book in the Daughter of Smoke and Bone series, and it's a young adult fantasy novel. I gave this one 2 stars. I was very, very disappointed in this one. I absolutely loved the first one. Daughter of Smoke and Bone got 5 stars from me. It was fantastic. It was original. It was different. This really let me down. It sounded like a whole other different series. The character voice was just so different from the first one, and to be frank, I was bored throughout about this much of it. And then this is how much where something happens. So yeah, I was very disappointed, and this has now become a series that I've abandoned. I'm not going to pick up the third one because I barely got through this one. So these copies, as gorgeous as they are actually going to be given away either on the blog or if a friend wants one. So yeah, I was extremely disappointed with Days of Blood and Starlight. Watch out for my review. It should be up in the next 2 or 3 weeks. And the last one I read is the one that I was most excited about. To finally have this book in my hands. You've probably guessed what it is. I've been raving about it on Twitter constantly. City of Heavenly Fire by Cassandra Clare. This is the US hardback. How gorgeous is this hardback? It's so pretty. I love this book. This is a huge book, and I can tell you that I was frightened for this book because the past 2 books, which is City of Fallen Angels and City of Lost Souls, those ones there, I was a bit disappointed with. I didn't like them as much as the first 3, so I was worried about this one. This kept my attention from this page to this page. I loved every single second of it. It had more of the feel that the first 3 had. It was incredible, and as massive as it was, I devoured it in 2 days. That's pretty good for me. It was fantastic. It was phenomenal. The way that she wrapped up, not just this, but sort of wrapped up the loose ends from the Infernal Devices series as well. I swore that after this book I wasn't going to read any more of Cassandra's Shadowhunter books because I feel like she's done 2 series and the Bane Chronicles. It's sort of time to move on past Shadowhunters. But then she introduced the 2 main characters for her Dark Artifices series in this book, and I love them, and I can't not find out what's going to happen with them. So yeah, love this book. So that's it. That's all I read. Now I'm going to tell you my top 3 books. You've probably guessed what number 1's going to be, but I'm going to go from 3. So number 3 was Storm by Brigid Kemmerer. I love the brothers, I love all the characters, I love the storyline. There's just nothing I don't love about this book. And I can't wait to start on book 2. Number 2, I don't have with me, but it is Take Me On by Katie McGarry. I just love Katie McGarry, everything she writes. Her writing's incredible, she's such a fantastic author. I just genuinely loved every moment of it. And number 1, have you guessed it? City of Heavenly Fire by Cassandra Clare. And the most exciting thing is I get to see her on Wednesday. I'm so excited to see her. And I'm going to get this one signed. And I'm going to get one of the Infernal Devices signed because we can only get 2 signed. And I think it's probably going to be Clockwork Princess. It's either going to be Clockwork Angel or Clockwork Princess. And I have a paperback up here somewhere of Clockwork Angel that's already signed. So I might go with Clockwork Princess. Loved it. So that's it for me. So I'll leave a link to the blog post below, and if I want to see what you guys have read, so if you've done any book wrap-up posts, link to me in the comments and I'll check them out. So thanks for watching. Bye!